Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Office Hours. In today's episode, we'll be talking to Jonas Keller. He's an ambitious mid-career professional aiming to step into head of product role within a year. We're going to talk to Sofia Morales, from Barcelona in Spain. She's managing a small team and wants to grow as a leader while maintaining great team morale. And we're going to talk to Daniel Okoya. He's talented and driven, but unsure on how to get noticed by a big global company. My name is Arvid. I'll be your host of the show today and the actual advisor sitting down answer the questions. Now, just to make clear, these answers are my opinions, and I see them as good opinions and good advice. But still, there are room for interpretation, obviously. So let's jump into it. Let's talk and listen to what Jonas Keller from Zurich in Switzerland had to say. So I delivered strong results, but leadership still sees me as an execution focused. How can I shift that perception? There are several questions and statements in that question that needs to be addressed, each on their own. The fact that you deliver strong results makes the company even more dependent on you and what you bring to the table. And from your closest manager's point of view, he or she probably have defined metrics they have to deliver on, KPIs defined in strategic plans inside the organization. And if they sees you as great at what you do, well, for them, keeping you at that position is the smart play, because it makes sure that everyone meets their goals and their targets and all these things. So, and although you are really good at other stuff, that's more an interest for you and the organization as a whole. So if you can, what I'm going for here is that the interests of your closest manager might not be aligned with your personal interest or the organization as a whole. So for them to out of the blue sit down and notice that you have a greater potential, yeah, they might see it, but there is a fair chance they're not going to act upon it and try to do something about it, because as I said, back to basics, they are really happy with having you right where you are, producing the results that everyone needs. So taking the next step, that's going to be up to you. In general, I would to start off, I'd suggest that you'll sit down with your manager and explain your ambitions and where you kind of see yourself in a couple of years going forward. Not even a couple of years, maybe a couple of months, but the point is that you're going to have to bring it up. Now, if you feel that's difficult, and there might be reasons for that we're not going to have to dig into now, I would look to HR, because most company has some sort of educational programs, development programs to develop the talents. Now, if one are unsure why these companies have these programs, well, obviously it's easier, better, and usually cheaper to recruit inside your own company. So if you are in management in a major corporation, you want as much talent as possibly be sourced from the inside, because recruiting management to major companies is extremely expensive. So it's in the company's or interest that you take these steps. It's in It's in uh, the higher management's interest, the shareholders' interest. Everyone is interested that you take these steps, but it's not always the ones sitting closest to you that has the same interest, because they have results that they have to meet, and you're probably an essential part of them meeting these hitting these targets. So that doesn't mean that it is difficult. It's just, I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to lay down that when interests doesn't really align, it's better to sit down and have a talk about it, and not try to show that you can do everything, because that's just you making even better results. uh, and as I understand, you worked in fintech and you wanted to be head of product. And your next question was, what's the difference between managing a product and leading an organization? Well, that's kind of a wide question, but I do get where you're coming from, because obviously there are more there are a lot of similarities. When you manage a product, the easiest way to understand it is that you are responsible for everything related to the go to market strategy for the product. Now, I'm not going to do a too deep of a dive into what that means, but go to market means budgets, uh, marketing, organization, distribution, everything related to how that's going to play out. That's the easy part. Then you have the other part is when to redesign, when to redevelop, when to add features, because obviously as the product moves throughout the different buying cycles in different markets, you're going to have to look for development. So then you're going to have to engage the design team, yeah, all those things. So but in basic, it's solely focused on how to produce that one goal with this one, not the one goal, but produce success with this one product. Leading an organization has a lot of similarities. It's obviously how the organization goes to markets. So basically you have to do and think about the same things. It's the strategies, how everything is put together. However, when you are managing an organization, you'll probably when you are a product lead, you engage the people around you as a peer. Basically, you are utilizing resources inside the organization to maximize the output of what you do. When you get into management, there are the culture, everything kind of changes, because all of a sudden you're in charge. You are you and your team, obviously, or the other manager, are the ones deciding who's doing what, when it's getting done, how much resources will be available for them to do it. You're kind of setting the parameters for everything. And you get into communication, building business culture, all these things. As a product uh, as a product manager, you're an executioner. Do as told, or not do as told. It's like telling a general or a colonel, take that hill. That's what you're going to do. Your job is to take that hill. Um, when you are the general, you have to plan the whole battle. So you have to decide when it's smart to take that hill. Should we take that hill first, or are you going to take the other hill, or do you want to make sure that we control the waters, or you make sure that we control the air? There's an overall goal for the whole company to succeed on all fronts. So to the easy answer is that when you are managing one product, you have set goals that you can focus on for that, and these set goals is part of a greater scheme. If you are manager, your job is to set the whole scheme for all the different products and all the different processes inside the company, and make sure that everything makes everything better. So back to the analogy, take that hill. Okay, for you, that's the easy task. You know how to take that hill. You can get the resources you need to take that hill. If you want to be a manager, you have to decide when it's smart to take that hill, why it's smart to take that hill, which kind of resources you have available to take that hill. Do you need to take another hill first? All these things. And you have to make sure that everyone that's put into these roles are capable of doing it. You also ask, is it worth doing an MBA at this stage, or should I focus on internal development opportunities? Well, I'm an education guy, so I'm gonna say taking an MBA is a smart play. It says two things. It obviously showcases that you are ambitious. This is one of the things that really showcases it. But it showcases that you are ambitious in such a way that you will, while internal education and development makes you attractive on the inside of your company. There's a fly in the studio. uh, yeah, while internal development makes you attractive inside the company, that doesn't really fly anywhere else. Obviously, if you were from McKinsey and you told the world that I've done every specialist course they have in McKinsey, that makes you great because you have a great education to get inside McKinsey. But an MBA will, by default, make you an attractive partner or attractive um, employee for almost everyone else. And it might even kind of tilt things a little to your advantage because those above you knows this as well. They know that the internal courses makes you a great fit for the things that they want you to be good at and produce. An MBA makes you not maybe not a perfect fit, but a great fit for a lot of their competitors. So that's a way to, I don't know, push the needle a little bit without doing something that's frowned upon, because what you are basically doing, you're acquiring skills that will benefit the organization you're already in, but you will also be more attractive for other companies out there. So in short, Jonas, talk to your manager, explain your situation. If you find it intimidating, talk to someone in HR. And if you see an MBA as a route going forward, I would recommend it always. Let's move on. Sofia Morales from Barcelona in Spain. She's a team lead in customer success. And she's asking, how do I balance being approachable and setting firm boundaries as a leader? Now, I could go into a long and complicated answer about that, but let's not do that because when this is people you work on a day-to-day basis with, and I'm going to assume that you are more or less working pretty close to each other. Um, I'd say use don't make yourself available outside of working hours. Just get that, set basic rules, because when you're at the office, you're going to help your team produce the results that the overall the organization wants overall. At the same time, and I'm going to assume that you have time for it, because time is of the essence. If you have to produce the same results as the rest of the group, the advice would be different. But just keep this one simple. Make sure you have to understand that you are a leader, and as a leader, you can be a friend, but you are first and foremost their leader professionally. So make sure that you separate your personal and professional life. Secondly, as soon as you've done that, set up time. Just being structured and having the time slots you need. You know what you need to do. You need how much time you have available to help and motivate your team. Okay, set it aside. Make sure you're available every day. 2 hours in the start, 2 hours in the end, 2 hours every day, something like that. And make sure that everyone knows that, because that's more than enough time to handle almost anything. So the balance is all about being structured, and you are the manager, so that's on you. So what you're going to have to sit down and do is to map out how much time do you have available for the the team lead tasks, and take away whatever you have to do of reporting and stuff like that. Make sure that that gets done, and then you'll see how much time you have left. Now make sure that that time is spread out evenly throughout the week, so you make yourself available on a to day basis. But do not make yourself available outside working hours, and do not make yourself available when you have other stuff to do. Um, and Sophia, you say that my team looks to me for motivation, but who motivates the motivator? Well, this is the thing about being a manager or leader. Uh, Obviously, if you are in a big company, I'm gonna have something to drink. If you are in a big company, um, there will be seminars and stuff you can go to, obviously, and maybe there is a mentor you can have. Maybe there's some coaching you can have. But at the end of the day, as a leader, as a manager, a lot of these things is on you as well. So for me, I would always say, when it comes to motivation, the best way to discover motivation, or how to motivate yourself, is to find the goals that you have, your personal goals, and figure out how these goals aligns with the goals that are set for you and the team. Because if you can see where you benefit from your team reaching the overall goals that you are working with, um, there is a highly like you will find the necessary motivation in that. Furthermore, so that's the easy part. Where do your personal goal align with the team goal? Break it down, and you'll see that will work. Secondly, I will always recommend to read, to go out, to go abroad. Read about motivation, read about personal development, read about professional development. Look to what other peoples have done uh, before you. But for the basics, don't make it complicated, and just make sure that your personal goals is aligned with the team goals, or find the personal goals you have that can be aligned with the team and organizational goals as a whole. Sophia also is wondering, what are early signs of burnout I should watch out for in them and in myself? This is kind of a question for doctors, but in general, when you see the energy in your team slump, and you really, or you see them, they seem fatigued, and you really don't know why or see any reason to why that should be like that. And I mean, like when I say there shouldn't be no reason, you can talk to them. They are talking to you. Do they sleep well? Are they eating well? Do they have personal problems in the love life? Have they lost someone near and dear? Is their pet sick? If these things happens, obviously their energy will drift off. But if you and in conversation with them or with yourself sees that no, there is no good reason for this, and they had their vacation and everything should be tip top. If it's not, that might be a warning sign. So the fatigue part, and with the fatigue and lack of energy, you get all the other small irritating signs. People being snappy. Um, they don't really have the. They don't smile. They are sad. All these things that creates a bad culture. It's a good question, because people reaching those, hitting those walls and stuff like that, is going to affect the whole team. So being aware and looking for the right signals is smart, but don't overthink it. Look for the easy signals. Are they really fatigued? And I mean fatigue not as in the disease, but when they look like they are really tired, and everything looks, yeah. Um, if you see that and there's no good reason for it, you might be onto something. So to summarize, to balance, uh, being approachable and setting boundaries, make sure you have to be structured. Make sure that you get to do what you're obliged to do to the company. So that's on one side. The rest of the time you can divide between your team and yourself, and make sure that it happens in working hours. The team looks to you for motivation. That's great. That means that you are doing a good job. To motivate yourself, you need to figure out which of your personal goals aligns with the team goals, because that's how we motivate ourselves as leaders. And the signs for burnout, okay, if people look really fatigued and you can't figure out or understand why it should be like that, you might be onto something. And it's a really, really smart play to be proactive and make sure that it does not, because it will affect your team's culture. Yeah. Okay. And finally, let's move on to Daniel Okoye from Lagos in Nigeria. I have to drink something in between, because talking so much, it kind of makes my throat go sore. And he's a junior data analyst. Um, how can I build visibility in a remote first organization without feeling like I'm bragging? Ooh, that's difficult. Well, let's break it down, because being good at your job, that's not bragging. So producing good results is obviously a good way to go. And I don't really understand how bragging will enter the assessment, because bragging in a remote team, that tells me that at least you do have some team meetings and stuff like that, and you are afraid that your peers or colleagues will pick up on it. Don't worry so much. This is the thing. If you're good at something, and talented, at the end of the day, you're gonna move past the majority of your peers either way. Do it with a straight face. Be honest about it, and just go about, do your job. Do it as good as possible. Show that you are engaged. Um, if there's, ask the good questions. Just do these things, because your immediate management will pick up on it and see whether or not you are ready to move forward. So do not fear for bragging. Bragging is when you kind of take all the good stuff you do at work and post it on Facebook and everywhere else, and try to showcase and build yourself up to something you maybe you really aren't. And it doesn't sound like that. Um, so let's just keep that one simple. Um, you're not bragging by doing a good job. You're bragging if you are not really doing a good job, but you are putting it out there like as if this was. If you are, if you post a LinkedIn post on your success changing a light bulb, you're bragging. If you are posting a post on how you were able to contribute to a great project, you're not bragging. You are showcasing your skills. And you kind of have to do that, because at the end of the day, this is your career. This is where you're going to be for the next, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, maybe in that company, but still, this is your career. So you have to showcase what you can do. Um, what's the best way to ask for more challenging projects without overstepping? Well, if you're afraid of overstepping, you are, I don't know. I, again, I feel like this is a question that's a little overcomplicated, but I get it, because the way I feel it right now is that you haven't really had the opportunity to sit down with your management team and talk to them and get to know them and know them as people. Uh, asking for challenging projects without overstepping is shouldn't be difficult at all. It should be basically you being able to knock on a door and open it up and sit down with your immediate manager, and literally say that, okay, this is where I want to go with my career. I want to, be a specialist. I want to do this. I want to do that. Now, if they are a global company, which you said they are, they do have, first and foremost, they should have a specialist program for people in your role. Now, there might be hoops you have to jump through. You have to complete a certain amount of projects, stuff like that, before you are enrolled in such such educational development. But still, you'll get the answers. So, however, if you are working remote, which you might be, I would still try to basically book a meeting with my immediate manager and say, and just lay it out, and not in an unpolite way. This is, it's not about that. It's about saying, okay, if you were a footballer and recruited as a junior player, well, you do want to reach to keep developing, and everyone that recruits to major companies know that within the pool of recruits they took in, there will be success stories, and there will be not so successful stories. uh, you cannot really overstep asking for challenges in a company. However, it has to be understood that you are, if you want more challenging projects, obviously you need to know that you're capable of delivering the projects you're already doing. If you're having troubles uh, delivering where you're right now, it will be difficult for them to take you that serious. But I'm going to assume, because you were talking about bragging, so that you are quite confident on your skills. As long as you're confident on your skills, reach out to the nearest manager and be polite and explain that you love the opportunity for working at the company, and you love the work you do. You find it exciting and all these things, but you would really like to know how you can keep developing and hopefully be engaged in more challenging projects, and maybe even, yeah, been taken into to different development programs. The worst that can happen is that they'll say you're not ready and you have to achieve certain goals or metrics first. For you, that will mean that, A, if you're lucky, you can be enrolled right now. If you're unlucky, you're still lucky because now you know what you have to do. So communication is key. Finally, should I wait to be promoted or start looking elsewhere after 2 years with no movement? Well, that's a difficult one. Moving employ employer too often will make you a risky project, because, and let's just see how it looks on your CV first. If you move after 2 years, the next employer would be unsure whether you are moving because you're not getting the opportunities you want, or you weren't good enough. So that's a risk. Then you have the other one. Employer For an employer to hire people is quite expensive, and to invest a lot of money into something into someone that probably will, or that there's at least a possibility that they will move on quite shortly, is not something they want to do, because again, it's expensive. uh that's the risky part. On the other hand, I get the feeling that what you have tried to do so far in your career is to prove yourself, but not too much. You prove yourself, you do the job, and you're not really trying to see. You're just assuming that people see your good work, and that's gonna help to elevate you to new positions. And then we're gonna have to circle back to what I talked to Jonas about. Um, for your immediate managers, you might be a perfect fit right where you are right now. That might be the reason why they're not giving you challenging projects. That might be the reason that you not get accolades you kind of feel you deserve. But we as employees, we do have a responsibility as well. If we want to take the next step in our career, nothing really ever happens just by itself. That's a movie, a Hollywood thing. You have to ask for it, and asking for it, you don't have to do it in the bragging, big dick swinging way. You can ask for it in a nice, polite way. You can sit down with your nearest man and say, okay, what do I need to do? Well, so if no one has promoted you by default after 2 years, no, that's not a reason to quit the job. If you feel good, if you want to be there, if you see that there are potential going forward. So at least before you quit your job, uh, reach out to your nearest manager and ask them. uh, Not ask them, flip the coin and go more like, okay, this is my wants and needs. Is this a possibility? How do we go forward? Metrics and all these things. And with all these things, I feel like I'm just repeating myself all the time right now. All these things is obviously, you'll sit down, you'll clarify your stand and what's needed from you to keep moving inside the organization. That's the smart play. So to summarize, you, Daniel, need to reach out to your nearest manager and have a polite and constructive sit down where you explain where you want to go and what you want to achieve, and they'll explain to you how you can go about doing just that. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for everyone that listened, and do hope you found our today's podcast useful. Thank you so much. This has been a great pleasure, and looking forward to see you again.